this weekend, it was Valentine's weekend, and I spent Valentine's weekend in Atlantic City.
Okay.
Where I was very happy to take my partner to see the Katt Williams concert.
Okay.
At Boardwalk Hall.
Very nice.
Let me tell you, Katt Williams has not lost his fastball.
I mean, I think we're saying lost it. Like, I think he stays at fighting weight.
He does.
Like, I think he's a comedian that never stops.
Yeah. He was lights out. He was incredible. It was
okay.
It was great show. He was funny. He was with it. He didn't reference the Shannon Sharpe interview at all. He didn't even make mention of, like, I know you all came out here because of that.
Sure.
He made no mention of it at all.
Well, again, there is no moss that grows under his feet. So
right.
That was what, a month ago?
A little over, actually.
Right. So he strikes me as a comedian that is continually creating material. And he references that on the interview where he says he writes material like he is a comedian.
Yeah, always writing, always in writing.
So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
He killed it. He brought out Mark Curry, who he references. That is the only reference to the interview is that Mark Curry is on tour with him. Right. And it's been forever since I saw Mark Curry, and I don't think if I remember seeing Mark Curry in stand up, I don't remember anything he did.
I don't have any knowledge of his
He was funny as well.
Right.
He definitely he's a different type of comedian, more of a storyteller. Than I think Katt is, and it's definitely a more laid back. He's older.
Yeah, and I think he might be a comedian's comedian.
He is.
I've
heard see that.
Other people speak of Mark Curry very respectfully.
Yeah,
and like he was definitely in the mix.
You could see that,
80s.
but he was still he was on point. He was funny. He brought out Tommy Davidson.
Okay,
who a friend of our show,
friend of the show, Tommy Davidson.
He was funny as well.
Okay,
had a couple of local comedians that were on point, and Monique, who I recently announced to be joining this tour, was there for 15 minutes to introduce Katt Williams.
Yeah.
And she was there. I did not personally. She didn't do a set. Like I said, she was only on stage for about 15 minutes. And it was it was more of a rant than throwing any jokes.
Well, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because you saw her right in the midst of this very public, very ugly back and forth between her and her estranged son.
Yes, which she references at the top of her appearance, talking about seeing him on her way to Atlantic City, seeing something that he had just dropped on TikTok.
Which, in some ways, you kind of see where this started with this very quickly emerging Shannon Sharpe culture where people say things publicly and then other people respond like the whole Katt Williams thing, from what I understand, because I have to say I'm not a big Shannon Sharpe listener like everybody else. I listened to the Katt Williams episode, but Katt Williams says basically people mentioned my name.
Yeah.
And then I responded. And then when Monique was on there, she did reference her relationship with this estranged son, which then I guess gave him license. Like, if you talk about me publicly, then I can talk about you publicly. And now she responds to him publicly. And I'm from the school of like, everybody knows everybody's phone number and everybody knows where everybody is, and everybody doesn't have to be like my mother. My mother used to be so proud of the fact that my parents lived at the same address, like our whole life. And I remember, like, Baltimore got a new area code, and we had to change our phone number when I was like 17. And I remember my mother was hot like fish grease because very adamant. You know where I am. If you need me, like you have something to say to me, you know where I am. And I said all that to say, like, I know both Monique and her son seem like they know where each other is.
They know how to connect.
That I don't have to hear about it.
Exactly. So, especially when it gets to a certain point.
Right.
When it gets to that,
right. Like nobody is winning.
No.
At this point.
And it's one thing when it's comedians talking about comedians.
Which is the other thing.
You're two public figures.
There you go.
Talking about each other. But once you start bringing family into
there you go.
Into that, man, like, yo, like, let's leave that alone.
Right. And again, I want to extend Monique a level of grace, even with her son, because I do get the sense that she's hurting.
You're right, because that is what came across in just, again, short 15 minutes. And I thought it was interesting. There was another comedian that was on the set. Takara Williams, I believe is her name. And her whole bit was about, her and her relationship with her daughter, right? Never mentions her daughter by name, but it's a bit about her and her daughter. Her daughter's a teenager and whatever. And she definitely is in the Katt Williams school. There's F-bombs and words flowing left and right, but it is jokes. It is 100% jokes. And you can see, despite that she's delivering it expertly, and she's saying certain things, you can tell that it is still jokes. Her tongue is firmly in her cheek.
Sure.
And that there is no doubt that she has a strong relationship with her daughter.
Sure.
That this is what it is. This is what comedy is.
Sure.
She came on probably about an hour before Monique. And then when Monique comes on and starts, like I said, she begins with this talking about the son. I'm expecting, okay, she's going to do, her version of what the other comedian.
Where you kind of hear the love underneath.
There was no love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, even those clips had, like I told you on our way in, I said, oh, you were at that show.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because those
like
clips
that.
have been floating around. And again, whatever she needs to get some kind of peace, I want her to get it.
No, I do too. But you bring up another point.
Okay.
Being at this show, we have heard historically that Dave Chappelle, and I think Chris Rock does this now too, that a lot of their shows, they confiscate people's phones.
Yes.
So that you can't be recording it.
Yeah.
I can understand why. Because at this show, there were so many people that are literally recording the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like before in the early days of like camera phones and stuff like this, where you were recording stuff maybe for your own entertainment value. Yeah. Now people are there because now people are recording this stuff because they need content for their profile, for their social media presence, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever happened to just going to a show
and just enjoying this moment,
enjoying this live presentation?
Yeah.
It's, I hate to say it, it's like, is it a missed art? Is it an art that is come and gone?
Look, I think there's something to it. I think we are very, very dangerously close to old man shakes fist at cloud.
But you know what? But I don't think.
But I do think there is something to the commentary of, do people enjoy things anymore?
Exactly.
In the moment. Or like even, you spend so much time recording that
you're not even taking in the experience.
You take in the experience.
And then there are people who now, because of social media, even life becomes a screen as opposed to an experience.
Sure.
So they're looking at what's happening, but they can't shut up and look at and listen to it, because there was a group of about 4 dudes behind us at the show who, thankfully, it wasn't too bad. But dog, they had a running commentary going on through almost a lot of these sets. I'm like, dog, like, we're sitting on top of each other. You're not at home watching this on TV.
Certainly, we've talked about this at this point. My best friend Cliff has a theory that the VCR, the advent of the VCR, in a lot of ways ruined going out to see performances, particularly, specifically, we were talking about movies.
Okay.
But I think this extends to what you're saying. And he said the problem with the VCR is that it demystified the theater.
Right.
Because you could watch films in your home.
You create a theater experience.
So first of all,
it
demystified the theater experience.
Yes.
B, because of the nature of a home entertainment system, you can pause it, which means that if someone talks over it, it's not as much of a chance that someone
you're missing anything.
Right, someone's going to say, "I'm missing," because you can rewind it and do all of this. Because of just the interaction,
and now you can pause live TV.
Well, because the interactive nature of home entertainment, that has. You've seen that spill over to when you go out in public.
Yeah.
And go and as I said, because he said the VCR, he's been saying that for like 25 years.
Probably longer than that.
But whenever the VCR, right.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with him because you do go places. Dang, look. We went and we've been to a couple of plays now. Like, I've been to a couple of plays. So we went and saw the Temptations play downtown over the holidays. Where else did we go? We saw another play.
Was it Pearly?
It wasn't Pearly. It was another play that we saw. And then, me and speaking of my boys, we take our daughters to go see Alvin Ailey every year.
That's right.
And we went and saw Alvin Ailey this year. And I've noticed over the past year, and I don't know if the pandemic broke people's brains, but people are so loud. In public, like at the theater, like at the risk of sounding like a Tyler Perry villain all of a sudden. I say, why can't these people conduct themselves with some type of dignity at the theater? But it really is. Like, why are you yelling? And I know that's right. At Alvin, like we're in Alvin Alley, like
it's at Alvin,
like. Like, I love Revelation as much as you love it. But what are you doing right now? Like, we're watching the dancers. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Now I'm full. Now I'm talking about you, but now I've gone full scale. Old man shakes his fist at the cloud.
Your fist is in the air.
Yeah.
I'm asking a question. Your fist is like,
So,
well, we're going to do our part, ladies and gentlemen, to try and bring back that theater experience on March 20th.
Oh, that was a nice transition.
Okay, it's better when you don't point it out.
I'm sorry.
At the Bryn Mawr Film Institute.
Sometimes I see the craft up close. One time we went and saw Stevie Wonder, and do you remember it was a group called For Real? Do you remember For Real?
Yes, I do remember For Real.
The group For Real. So like when In Vogue came out, it was a bunch of those groups that came out, and there was a group called For Real. And remember their hook was they all had short little naturals.
Yes.
For Real sang backup for Stevie Wonder at this concert that we saw him, and at one point, 2 of them just stopped singing.
Okay.
because Stevie Wonder was so good at what Stevie Wonder does, and they were close to Stevie Wonder.
They forgot where they were.
They just stopped singing. They were just sitting on the stool watching Stevie Wonder up close. And that's what it is. Like sometimes you're so good at the craft of producing and creating that I get to see it in real time.
Well, thank you. And you'll be able to see it in real time too, ladies and gentlemen.
See, you did it again. See, you did it again. That's Lynn Webb, ladies and gentlemen. Lynn Webb. Lynn Webb. Lynn Webb.